I now call the January 18th, 2022 Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:45. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of claims.
Madam Chair, I move that we pay claims in the amount of $294,915.73, manual checks in the amount of $16,098.84, payroll and liabilities for 1/14/22 in the amount of $215,592.18, for a total of $526,606.75.
Second.
Councilmember Pronto made the motion, second by Councilman Bailey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Is there anything additional that we need to discuss?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, there being no other business to come before this committee, I adjourn the Finance Committee meeting at 6:46.
I now call the February 1st, 2022 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7:01. Councilwoman Cox will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilman Bailey will give us the invocation.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings that we enjoy. Thank you for giving us the ability to be good citizens of the city of Riverton. Please help us to make this city a better place to live and to work and to raise our families. Please bless all of those who go out every day and help protect us, the police, emergency responders, firemen, and all of the employees of the city of Riverton. And please keep them safe as they do their jobs. We ask all these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
We'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. We appreciate the attendance. Would the city clerk please conduct roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilman Lindsay Cox.
Here.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Here?
Councilman Dean Pronto.
Here.
Councilman Kyle Larson.
Here.
Councilwoman Christy Salisbury.
Here.
Mayor Richard Gard.
Here. I declare we have a quorum present. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Is that you, Kyle?
Yeah. Sorry,
Thought you brought a frog with you.
I did.
Councilman Larson has a motion, and Councilwoman Borders has a second. Any council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Communication from the floor. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that is scheduled for a public hearing will be given the opportunity to speak during that public hearing. Anyone wishing to address the council on any other may speak now. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council at this time to approach the podium and to identify yourself for the record. This is Josh Martin. Jason Martin, thank you.
Dear Mayor Gard, my name is Jason Todd Martin. I'm a fourth grader at Wyoming Connections Academy. I am writing to you today about the need to fix the sidewalks, streets, and gutters in Riverton city limits. The sidewalks in our neighborhood are breaking and are uneven. This is a problem because when the neighborhood kids are rollerblading, scooters, and bikes, the broken roads and sidewalks have sharp rocks that pop or chip tires, causing kids to fall and get hurt. This is also a problem for adults who may have disabilities seeing or walking. The uneven ground can make it so they either trip or lose their balance, falling to the ground every year that goes by without it being fixed. The roads and sidewalks break more and more, causing it to be dangerous for kids and adults. I'm asking you to order the streets, sidewalks, and gutters to be fixed in the next few months or so. A possible solution is by having a street sweeper come 2 times a week to clean up the broken rocks until a crew can come fix the broken parts of the sidewalks, streets, and gutters. I realize this may cost more money than the we have in the city budget today, so I propose that we use money collected from speeding tickets and taxes. If the city doesn't have enough money, they should come to our neighborhood and write more tickets to the people who speed down our streets. This would help raise more money and stop speeders from going down our streets, making it safer for kids to play. By fixing our streets, sidewalks, and gutters in our neighborhood, you would feel better about yourself because you would help make the streets safer for everyone. Perhaps even your own grandkids can come play with us on our new, safer street. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that letter, and when I got it, I really appreciated the opportunity, because in that letter, not only were you asking for something to be done, you had the solutions that you thought would work. Chief, can we write more tickets?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Now, I think probably the adults in the room or the drivers in the room are probably not real thrilled with the idea that we're going to write more tickets. And so we might call that Jason's Law or something like that, so it gets it off the council's back. But I think you were exactly right in what you're asking for. And there's some problems with what you're asked for, is that some of the things that you would like fixed are private property, so we don't have the ability as a city council to get those private property owners to replace their sidewalks. But I think the sentiment of what you have in your letter is really important, and I appreciate the fact that you're willing to take your time, and whoever your folks that encouraged you. When I went to find you, you were out skating, weren't you? You're out scooting, huh? And your folks were kind enough to tell me where you were, and we came down and found you, didn't we? And I really think you have a real potential to be able to help the city do things better. And I appreciate your letter. I can't just order the streets and alleys and crews to do what I tell them to do. Mr. Butterfield there in the tie and the blue sweater, he's the guy that orders those things. And so he is very aware of the needs that you're speaking of. And, you know, as the mayor, I get somewhat disappointed when I see brand new concrete on Federal and somebody's driving 5 feet up onto the sidewalk to make a turn. And I just have to scratch my head and wonder who in the world is driving that rig that had to get that far up on the sidewalk. And so I share your frustration, and I appreciate your letter, and we'll take it under advisement, and we'll do our very best to follow that. Mike?
Your Honor, what street does he live on?
I was going to say, Your Honor, what address is he? Because we'll make sure we bring it up at the Force Committee, which is who could maybe get that street on the list of things to be fixed, so.
He lives on Pinnacle. I wasn't going to tell everybody that because it's really close to my house. I didn't want anybody using me in inside trading again. But, and that's probably some of our newer sidewalk in the city of Riverton. And so I think everybody needs to be aware of the degrading of city properties and private properties and do their very best to try to keep your properties up, and we find that with weeds and all sorts of things. And so I really enjoyed your letter, and I appreciate your taking the time to come out and read it to us, and that's got to be scary. And so I think you're a brave guy to come do it. I'm glad your grandparents are here from Rock Springs, I believe, and they're awful proud of you. That's, 240 miles they've got to travel over to see you do what you did tonight. So thanks for what you do, and we'll do our best to try to follow your example. And you got Kyle Butterfield's card, and so you can call him direct now, right? Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else that would wish to address the council? Would you like to shake hands with the council? Why don't you start there with Councilwoman?
Thank you.
Wow,
Good job, buddy.
what a powerful.
Don't forget the chief. He's part of your plan.
Yeah, they put us in the corner. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow. Brave kid. That's awesome. A lot of grown-ups can't do that.
Thank you.
Only in Riverton.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a good parent right there, two good parents, so we appreciate them. No one else brave enough to outdo a fourth grader?
I don't think you can
Okay.
pull that up.
No. Would the city clerk please read the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, January 18th, 2022, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, February 1st, 2022, Finance Committee meeting. Approval of the Finance Committee recommendations for February 1st, 2022.
Are there any items requiring further discussion?
Your Honor, the Finance Committee met earlier this evening and approved the consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $294,915.73. Manual checks in the amount of $16,098.84. Payrolls and liabilities for January 14th, 22 in the amount of $215,592.18 for a total of $526,606.75.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Peranto has the motion. Councilman Bailey has the second. Any council discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Introduction and oath of officers of our new police officers. Police chief's report, please.
Your Honor and Council, thank you very much. Sorry for yelling in that. So I am going to introduce two new police officers tonight. I'm very excited about these two. They are both Riverton High School graduates. Shallon graduated in 2013 and Carl graduated in 2009. Shallon lived in Billings and worked for the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Department before we hired her. She likes hanging out with family, going to the gym, and hanging out with her grandmother. Carl Johnson is married with 3 kids, and he loves fitness and cooking. However, I have not tasted his cooking yet, so we'll have to try that out.
How's he at fitness?
Pretty good, actually. Both of them are really good in
He's
fitness.
probably a pretty good cook then, huh?
Yeah, I would imagine so. We'll have to talk to his wife about it and see. So, Your Honor, if you could come down and swear them in, that would be fantastic.
Why don't you guys just come side by side? I do solemnly swear or affirm, oh, you gotta raise your right hand. Mistake. I do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and obey and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated any law
that I have not knowingly violated any law
relating to my election or appointment
related to my election or appointment,
or caused that to be done by others,
or caused that to be done by others,
and that I will discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
and that I will discharge my duties with fidelity with
That I will discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
that I will discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yippee. How lucky we are.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Glad to have you. Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
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 Congratulations. Come aboard.
Thank you.
Leaving? We'll miss you. We'll now move to item 10, public hearing and consideration for liquor license transfer to Predator Productions, Inc. City Clerk's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mayor and council, before you tonight for your consideration is a retail liquor license transfer of ownership and transfer of location application submitted by Predator Productions Incorporated, doing business as Baked on Broadway, which will be located at 116 South Broadway Avenue, Suite D, for the remainder of the 2021-2022 liquor licensing year. The license is currently housed and non-operational at 229 East Main Street, which is formerly The Landing LLC, doing business as The Landing Lounge. Representatives from the Predator Productions Incorporated are in the audience tonight should you have any questions of them regarding their application. The Wyoming Liquor Division has certified the application is complete, the proper fees have been paid, and proper notice to the public has been advertised. Therefore, based on the information provided through the application process, staff recommends approval of the transfer of ownership and transfer of location application. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders has the motion. Councilman Bailey has the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passed. I now declare a public hearing open. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statute and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone in the audience that would wish to speak?
Seeing none, Your Honor, I would move we close the public hearing.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Bailey and I have a second from Councilman Toronto. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passed. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the transfer of the ownership and transfer of the location of the retail liquor license to Predator Productions, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Good.
Councilwoman Cox has the motion. Councilwoman Borders has the motion, or has the second. Discussion.
Where is that?
It's the Landing Bar on Main Street, right catty corner from the Teton Hotel,
Okay.
across from Gales.
Oh, across from Gales.
They're moving from there though, right?
No, the liquor license was there. The liquor license is moving to
160.
his personal office, but the facility, are you staying at the facility? Is the bar staying at the facility?
Your Honor, it is moving from the location at 229 East Main, which is the landing, or formerly the landing, and will go to the suite above where Bar 10 is housed right now.
Okay, super, good information.
So is it gonna be an operation then?
Yes.
It's not gonna be held for a year or something like that?
No, Your Honor, it's operational.
It's not gonna be couched, it's operational. Okay. Any problem with getting upstairs? How about getting downstairs?
Fire pole.
We might-
Fire pole.
Kyle suggests a fire pole. may work. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Consideration of ordinance number 22-001, second reading, disorderly house or business. Would the city clerk please read ordinance number 22-001 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed ordinance number 22-001 on second reading. An ordinance amending Title IX, Public Peace, Morals, and Welfare, Chapter 9.08, Offenses Against Public Peace and Decency, repealing and replacing Section 7.08.140, Disorderly Houses of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 22-001 on second reading.
So moved.
Second?
I got second reading here, but it should be first, right?
Second reading?
Second.
We approved it.
Oh, I'm
First reading was-
I'm still back at the bar. That's the-
Yeah, we did that on the 18th.
Somebody's going to have to get me to the right spot. It is second reading. Do I have a motion?
I moved.
Thank you.
Carla seconded.
Councilman Peranto has the motion and Councilwoman Borders has the second. Thanks, Mike. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Consideration of ordinance number 21-017, third and final reading for the rezone of Buffalo subdivision at 1802 West Sunset. Would the city clerk please read ordinance number 21-017 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed ordinance number 21-017 on third and final reading. An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the city of Riverton, Wyoming, designating the rezone of Lot 1A, Block 1, final plat, replat, Buffalo subdivision, city of Riverton, addressed as 1802 West Sunset Avenue, to the city of Riverton, Fremont County, Wyoming, from residential R2 to residential R4.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 21-017 on third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey has the motion. Councilwoman Cox has the second. Any further discussion? Would the city clerk please conduct roll call vote?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay Cox.
Aye.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Aye.
Councilman Dean Peranto.
Yes.
Councilman Kyle Larson.
No.
Councilwoman Christy Salisbury.
No.
Mayor Richard Gard.
Aye. Motion passes. Cowboy Lane Water Project Bid Award. Public Works Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. As part of the Riverton Water Supply Project that was recently completed, the City of Riverton began working with the tribal entities regarding some easements. As you recall, for the Riverton Water Supply Project, it was required to cross tribal ground. And the process to receive the easements associated with that improvement began as early as 2011 and 2012. On September 12th, 2012, the Joint Business Council at that time approved the requested easement for the Riverton Water Supply Project, but requested that in consideration of that easement, the city of Riverton help provide water to some tribal housing that's adjacent to the Cowboy Lane area, just off of Cooper Road. In 2017, the BIA was able to approve the easement related to both the Riverton Water Supply Project and also this area adjacent to Cowboy Lane. Preliminary plans for this improvement of distribution line actually began in 2012, but as we were working through the easement process, we didn't finalize those. As you remember, last year on January 5th, 2021, after having completed the Riverton Water Supply Project, we were ready to finalize the plans for the Cowboy Lane waterline improvement, and we continued to work with Ingebrigtsen Miller on that project. Subsequently, Ingebrigtsen Miller finalized the plans and prepared a bid package. As a reminder, this project includes approximately 4,000 feet of water line, 7 hydrants, and then also the appropriate appurtenances to provide services to meter pits that will then allow tribal residents to hire someone to connect into our water system. Bid packages were advertised on several occasions locally and then also on a third-party site, and bids were publicly opened on January 25th, 2022. We were fortunate to have 7 bidders, and I'll read through that list briefly. Western Municipal Construction with a base bid in the amount of $622,190 and an alternate A bid of $104,247. Jerry Bornhoff Construction with a base bid in the amount of $642,710 and an alternate for $106,850. LCI Trucking and Construction with a base bid in the amount of $453,193 and an alternate A in the amount of $97,236. Viper Underground Incorporated with a base bid in the amount of $411,280 and an alternate in the amount of $76,260. Wyodak Energy Services with a base bid in the amount of $481,915.12 and an alternate in the amount of $76,323.85. High Country Construction Incorporated with a base bid in the amount of $524,285 and an alternate in the amount of $95,667. And finally, Patrick Construction Incorporated with a base bid in the amount of $636,707.50 and an alternate in the amount of $134,200. That's the most I've ever read through on a bid award. Ingebrigtsen Miller reviewed that each bid was responsive to specifications, and they've recommended the City Council awards the base bid of the Cowboy Lane Waterline Project to Viper Underground. As you heard as I went through the bids, we did have an alternate included in the bid package. The base bid covers the tribal ground adjacent to Cowboy Lane and Cooper, and that was part of the consideration of the easement. However, when we were working through the easements, we also applied for an area off of Cooper adjacent to Quiver Lane with the intention of providing a secondary water source or a redundant loop to that neighborhood. We did not receive an easement from the BIA when they provided the other 2 easements. So therefore, when Ingebrigtsen Miller presented its recommendation, it did not recommend we award alternative A. However, since writing the staff report, I've re-engaged the Bureau of Indian Affairs and said if there's an ability to receive in short order the easement that was previously applied for, we have sufficient budget to complete both the base bid and the alternate, should it be of their interest. And again, this would really provide an opportunity for those tribal residents living on the Quiver Lane area, a redundant water supply source. That provides better service to those customers so that if we ever had to do any work off of their main source, which is off of Airport Road, we'd have a redundant supply. Leslie Shakespeare, who is the superintendent of the BIA, has been working with me, and we feel there may be a window to reapproach both of the councils to see if they would like to reconsider the easement, because this is a window of opportunity and we do have the budget available. Therefore, staff recommends that we award the base bid to Viper Underground and award the alternate with a contingent that we receive the easement through the BIA. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. That isn't on the motion approval. Do we need to make an alternate to that to get that, the alternate A in the motion?
Your Honor, that would be recommended if you accept a motion from the body where we award the base bid, but a contingent award for the alternate. That way, it stays unfulfilled unless we receive the easement, but if we receive the easement, we can pivot pretty quickly with Viper Underground and work with the tribes to provide that redundant water source to the tribal housing there.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion with the stipulation.
okay.
Second.
Here I am writing, and you guys let me even read it. So, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the base bid on Cowboy Lane Water Lane project to Viper Underground, Inc. in the amount of $411,280, and the alternate amount, if obtained easement, for $76,260. We have, does your motion stand?
Second.
And you'll second. So we have a motion from Councilman Peranto. We have a second from Councilman Bailey with those two items attached. Any further discussion? Mike?
Kyle, just for my own information, so how many residences are we serving with those water lines?
Your Honor, in the Cowboy Lane area, it's 11, if I remember correctly, 11 to 13. For the Quiver neighborhood, I don't have that count off the top of my head, but I could easily estimate that it's another 10 to 15.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Airport Board recommendation of the Riverton Ambassadors Art Project. Public Work Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll highlight a few things that are in your packet, but I also want to reference that if you would prefer to have an aerial put up on the screen as you discuss this, we can make that possible if it's your choice.
Might be nice for the audience. We all got packets, but
We can definitely do that if you give me just a few minutes.
I can't get as dry as the desert myself.
It's good.
That's good.
Yep, it's coming on.
Thank you, Your Honor, and we can work through visuals later, but I do want to work through the report. As you know, the Riverton Ambassadors are a self-formed community group of volunteers focused on moving initiative forwards and improving the Riverton community. Recently, the ambassadors have focused their efforts on creating monuments around the Riverton community to promote our regional assets and to welcome visitors. The first monument that they would like to install is at Central Wyoming Regional Airport. Their vision is to make this monument a piece of art that represents all of Fremont County and specifically welcomes those who are utilizing the airport to Fremont County and Wind River country. The ambassadors have partnered with local artist John Cox as they work through some of their planning and preliminary concepts. The Riverton Ambassadors Group is still honing the scope and design of their project. They would like to work with a number of communities in the area to hone down the images that would be on this monument. And as far as the scope, they're still working through cost estimates, and they still need to work through their funding sources as well. However, they believe that there are several grants available at the state and other local entities that can support the vision they've already created. As they do so, they can hone the details of the project and better understand the costs associated therewith. Their preliminary concept right now includes a footprint of 30 feet in length and a pinnacle height of 12 feet tall. The base of this is basically 2 by 30 foot. And the monument consists of cut pieces of metal welded together, again, to highlight several of the assets of our area in a very artistic way. And we'll go through the preliminary mock-up on that for the benefit of the audience. The ambassadors would like to install this monument directly across from the terminal at Central Wyoming Regional Airport in a parking strip that's located between the travel lanes and the parking lot. This area currently has a street light pole and base, 4 trees. It's a grassy area and has some subterranean infrastructure, which includes power, and then obviously the irrigation infrastructure for the grass. In some of the meetings, the ambassadors have communicated this is their prioritized location and would prefer that it go there, and do not seem that they would like to propose any other alternates to this location at this time. As this improvement is proposed to be in the area of the airport on January 21st, 2022, the concept was presented to the airport board, who received the proposal very positively and appreciated the efforts of the ambassadors to improve the community. And with that said, they unanimously passed a motion recommending City Council direct staff to continue the planning process with the ambassadors for this monument. Some of that planning process may include, but is not limited to, working through infrastructure accommodations, ensuring that the monument is engineered appropriately to withhold winds and to be safe for the public, establish and verify cost estimates, funding, and the final site location, et cetera, et cetera. When improvement requests from community groups have come to the council before, as you remember, we've done so through either a lease agreement or a memorandum of understanding. We recently went through that with the Garden Club. Couldn't think of their name real quick, but it was for the Blue Star Memorial that's at Reach Park, but the Garden Club did promote that. The purpose of those agreements is to hone down the details and the purpose of the improvement, identify its geographic location, defines the obligations of the parties involved, and clarifies future maintenance responsibilities. Basically, it's a way for the city to say, we support you, let's figure out our roles, we will do this, you will do this, and once it's installed, we will also think of how that improvement will be for the next 30 years, so that it's a positive note to the community over that period of time. I believe that protects the interests of both parties. As you know, there are several options available to you, and I outlined those in your packet. I won't go through those now, but it's really your opportunity to consider the motion of the airport board and also to take your own action. At this time, I'll go ahead and bring up some of those images just for the audience that's here and maybe the public that are watching remotely. I'll try and zoom that in to make it a little easier on everybody. This is an aerial view of the proposed location. As you can see, this is the Central Wyoming Regional Airport Terminal. The area circled in yellow represents the parking strip where they would like to have the asset installed. The main reason they like this location is because both of the exit points of the terminal are able to see this location immediately as they work from the terminal towards the parking lot. And as identified, there is currently a street light pole and foundation, there are trees, and then other minor things that would just need to be accommodated through that agreement and through that planning process, but it's definitely something that's doable, and the ambassadors have already communicated their commitment to do so. Here are some photos that identify the area, and I hope that's big enough for everybody to see, but as you'll notice, this is the parking strip between the two sidewalk areas, looking from both locations. And then here it is looking along the street view. And then from the terminal itself. This is centered on the terminal. This wouldn't be necessarily the view as you walk out of the terminal, but it is close enough to represent what that view would be as you walk out. Next, and I think this would be of interest for the audience, is this is the mock-up prepared by Mr. Cox as he's worked with the community group. As you can tell, again, there's a pinnacle height of roughly 12 feet, a length of roughly 30, but each of the columns that would be in metal sheets represent the various community assets. And this is a mock-up. As I mentioned, the group is still working with the communities within Fremont County to decide what imagery they'd like to display. With that, Your Honor, I will leave it there, and I know there are members in the audience who represent this group, and they may or may not want to address you at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Kyle. Anybody have any questions?
I think it's really cool, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
Mike?
Yeah, they did present at Airport Board, and again, I think it looks like a great project. I think it would be, you know, a nice representation of the county when people fly in and come out of the terminal. And so I guess I would put my support against at least pursuing this and finding out what it's going to cost and what it will take, and I think it's a great idea.
Your Honor,
Kyle?
which way is this facing? Kyle, is it facing the parking lot or is it facing the airport as you exit?
Your Honor, it would be facing the airport as you exit. On the back side, so the parking lot facing side, they do plan to have maybe a message on there that says, you know, thanks for coming to Wind River Country or whatever they might have, and then maybe some logos of the sponsors and the funding assistance that they receive from entities. But the majority of the artwork will be on that side facing the terminal.
Julie, would you like to come up and address the audience?
Sorry, turn it back on for a second, sorry. Sorry.
On.
So this is what you'll see during the day. This will be the coming out the terminal, and then the back side of it, on this side, will be black metal. And that's what we'd put our message on. And then it'll be lit up. Lights, please. It'll be lit up, and it's really cool if this works. Because then you see a different image of it at night when it's lit up. I don't have probably a bright enough light for that, but yeah, let me come over by the cowboy, or our western guy. God, I can't even see now, I'm just blind. So you see a different image of it at night than you do during the day. Show those guys back there. It's not very good light in there, but you get the gist of it. You got two different images during the day versus the night with it and the light in there, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will we have any signage related to this sign inside? I mean, explaining the tank and, I mean.
Well, this is all in concept, Kyle, and as you could see in the concept of the drawing is the new Riverton logo. Is it the pinnacle of it?
Yep.
Also, the mountain range cut that's in this is not of the Tetons, it's of our Wind River range, which is another real positive effect. We don't know exactly, and that's why we have an artist that is working on it. John's gonna take that information that comes in shortly. He doesn't have a lot of time. I think the deadline was 4th of February for the different communities, and we're trying to make this all inclusive with Du Bois, Pavilion, Hudson, Lander, Riverton, and Shoshone all having input on those panels, so that they can put something that represents their city, and then all the way across the panels, there'll be fish and things that tie the panels together to make it art.
Cool.
And the backlight on it, because it's a black metal surface, when it gets backlit, it will light through the cowboy and all of those different drawings will be highlighted in the evening.
Good.
So, and it's very much in its conceptual idea, but the artist and the ambassadors are at a point where they would like to, because they're gonna go out and find the donation dollars to put this in place to take over that piece of ground right there in front of the airport. So I guess the discussion ought to be, you ought to understand that in this discussion, they're wanting that piece of grass right there, and not somewhere else on the facility, which is always, you know, and we got to think down the road a ways so that other people may wonder why it's dead center in the middle of the airport. You'll be able to drive through and drop people off and be able to see or pick people up and see the sign. And this is somewhat similar to the Veterans Memorial Monument out at Fort Washakie that John just did. And that was done with marble, that was done with rock, stone, and really quite pretty monument, for those of you that have seen that. Mike's given me the high sign that he can't hear. I'll speak up. I don't speak as loud as I should. So those are a lot of the details. It isn't totally in stone or in metal yet. When it does get done, it will be a metal sign, and so it will be cut out of and they were looking for somebody local to do that manufacturing, but we've been told by some local entities that they aren't comfortable with doing that, so we may have to look outside the Fremont County to get those done. But in jest, everything else is pretty much being done here. Did I cover that well enough? Anybody's got any other suggestions that I might have missed?
Your Honor?
Yep.
I just had one thought, and they may have already thought about this, but Job Corps and their welding program, maybe they could help. Maybe you've checked into that already.
Kevin.
Your Honor. Kevin Kershishnik, ID Inc. Just wanted to give you a quick update there. So we've looked at different metals for that. We're working with Weld Pro in Riverton right now. We're also working with CWC, see if the welding department can do something for us. And then there's also Pepper Tank over in Casper, which has done a lot of these. So if you see the 307 First artwork, like between here and Casper, all those big sheet metal pieces, those are done there at Pepper Tank. So at this point, John and I met with them. We feel pretty confident that we can get that done here, hopefully in Fremont County, and if not in Wyoming for sure. And budgetary estimates at this point, probably around $100K, and then we have to consider the maintenance side of it, you know, the electricity to run it, what's going to be required year over year. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have some more numbers as we move forward. But very excited about this project, and would hope that you would approve to move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We've also talked of trying to raise enough money that it might have an endowment attached to it, like the senior citizens, so it can take care of its needs down the road instead of being a drag on the airport. Airport has enough problems staying afloat. Is there any other discussion? Kyle, we covered that good enough?
Your Honor, I think so. I appreciate the discussion. It would be staff's recommendation that if you do approve this, it is conditional upon this MOU or lease agreement. That way, as details do get honed down with the group and the city, we're able to come back to you and say, this is exactly the responsibility of each group. This is how the current assets will be reaccommodated, the street light, et cetera. So that would be our recommendation, is that if you give it approval, it's contingent on an MOU or a lease agreement that would come back to you for final authorization.
And the signer for that MOU would be ambassadors?
Your Honor, that would be my estimate. I know the ambassadors are a legal entity in the consideration of the Secretary of State. They are the sponsoring group. Unless they just decide to change that to someone like the Chamber or someone else, that's again more detail that still needs to be fleshed out. Who's going to be the actual sponsor of this to sign that agreement with the City of Riverton?
Kevin, do you have any suggestions with any experience with that? Is that all right that we go to a volunteer group in the city?
I think, you know, as Mr. Butterfield said, that would be fine. Could move that forward. Other entities associated with that, you know, Idea Inc. is associated as well. We'd be part of that, but if we run it through the ambassadors, and we'd be there to support it.
Okay. Appreciate that. Do we need to make that amendment on this motion to have an MOU?
Your Honor, there currently isn't a motion on the floor, but that would be my recommendation once the motion comes, that you would have it, if you approve it, it would be contingent on that drafting of agreement.
The chair would entertain a motion to direct staff to begin planning work necessary for artwork project proposed by the Riverton ambassadors.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Cox, do you want to attach that MOU to that motion?
Yes.
So
Or-
we would, in acceptance of that, we would like to have an MOU associated with it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Are you still good with that, Carl?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Borders has the second. Additional discussion.
Great project.
Fabulous. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passed. We are on reports and comments. Council members' reports. Christie, since you're getting all the votes tonight, you want to start?
Okay. Sure. I want to report on the quick draw art exhibit event that was held at the college on January 2nd. Like I said before, it was a great coordination between the chamber, the city, and the college. I want to thank Brad Tyndall, the foundation, for funding the program. Nita Kehoe did a great job organizing it. Some of our chamber members, Jason Hawk, who's in the audience, and Bonnie Barton, did a great job with the alcohol and making it a nice event in that way. And then Brown Sugar had great appetizers and food, and it was very well attended. It was a great night. I think it'll grow and grow, but it was a really nice night. And I think they're going to start doing it in October, so people can purchase artwork before Christmas. But it was a really great event. Some of our local city officers that work with the college too provided security. And so I'm kind of excited. It really turned out well. And other than that, we didn't have any other meetings.
Thank you. Carla?
Your Honor, I have not attended any meetings since last meeting. I do want to mention the rendezvous games, though. They're coming up on February 19th from 1 to 5. I think we have some sponsorships available. If there's any teams out there, get a hold of Tony at the city. Am I missing anything, Tony?
Your Honor, I believe we're running 10 to 1 or 10 to 2 on, we're gonna, those are gonna be announced. Do you remember?
10 to 2?
I believe that's correct. I'll double check, but I think we were trying to move it to the middle of, so it wasn't early in the morning and it wasn't in the evening.
Gotcha.
So, but everybody can come into City Hall, sign up. We did have our first team sign up today. So we're looking forward to that. We're happy to have them, and if a sponsorship is a challenge, we can probably work through that too. Thank you.
Anything else, Carla?
That's it, Your Honor.
Lindsay?
I haven't had any meetings since our last meeting. The rec board will be meeting next Tuesday, and the senior endowment will be meeting next week as well. So I'll have more to report after those two.
Thank you. Mike?
The only meeting I attended was the airport board meeting. And again, we talked a little bit about the Riverton Ambassadors artwork exhibit. And We also had a presentation from the Military Museum. They're interested in putting some stuff in the airport to promote that museum up by Du Bois. And so, I mean, we've had a lot of interest in stuff at the airport, and we have a person wanting to maybe do a mural up there, and so we've got all kinds of interest in the airport. And we ended the year with 15,500 or 600, something like that, which is just amazing. And so the airport's cranking right along, and then, of course, you know, no good deed goes unpunished with COVID taking out a lot of the pilot and air crews, and so SkyWest has been sort of forced to cut back to one flight a day instead of two that we had normally been getting, and so hopefully that will be short-lived. But for now, we just have the midday flight in and out, and so hopefully, you know, COVID will get over and they'll get their crews back to work and be able to kick it back into gear for summertime when everything picks up. So thank goodness at least this is sort of the slower time of year for people to fly anyway, so. But the airport's done an amazing job, and I think the Force Committee, or not Force Committee, the FAST Committee and all of the Riverton Airport staff, and everybody's done a great job in making that all work together. And they got the new floor and door put in the big orange airport hangar, and so that's in use. And the new hangar that used to be with Jim's Aircraft is being used. And so getting a lot of things done up at the airport. So thank you.
How's our gate project coming in? Did the gate ever show up?
Your Honor, the gate's lost right now, but we hope it shows up soon.
So do our cutbacks for flights come in on the 11th of February? Is that correct?
Your Honor, that's correct. The schedule change will occur on the 11th, and that will continue for an indefinite period right now. As Mr. Bailey mentioned, it's contingent on when we can get crews and staffing back to normal.
Okay. Fabulous. Thanks, Mike. Dean?
Your Honor, I haven't attended any meetings since our last meeting, but I am also looking forward to getting back to normal at some point. That would be awesome.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Kyle?
I have been a recipient of COVID-19. After 3 shots, I got it in Rock Springs at a wrestling meet. Okay? But the Shoshone landfill has been completed, topped off, and they're doing the walkthrough, and that is completed. That was a month and a half completion, just done. So that was interesting. The second thing, which I find interesting, is that there's an Instacare that has opened as of today on Madison that was family care. There's a PA there and nurses, etc. So it's walk-in. And then if you need blood work or something else done, then you go to the main clinic down on Adams. But yay, we finally got one instead of the emergency room. There's nothing wrong with the emergency room, but it is so much easier to go there. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Kyle, can you remember what it cost to close the Shoshone landfill?
$1.25 million.
Million and two?
And that's not final, because they've got to have a walkthrough. They've got to make sure that the cap is secure, and but it was amazingly, it was started in November and completed by January.
Thank you for your work there. Tony?
Thank you, Your Honor. We've had a couple meetings. We were fortunate to attend the Wind River Visitor Council meeting last week. The Governor's Tourism Conference is happening February, end of February through March 1st. That group did vote to send not only staff, but one of the board representatives, which I'm happy to say is one of our representatives, Julie Buller, who's in the audience. So it's nice to be represented at those. There's a lot of information going around, so we're pleased that she's going. RECDA met last week, received a presentation from Grace Andrus, the new owner of the Riverton Ranger. That was a really good conversation. We look forward to working with Grace and her staff as that changeover happens. FCAG met last Thursday, trying to get all my days right, last Thursday at its regular meeting. That group continues to do its work, and that group did meet earlier. The majority of the people in that room also met earlier in the day for another ambulance meeting. As council remembers, there is an ongoing discussion about ongoing ambulance funding, and that group is working together to both understand those challenges and try to work through some sort of discussion with regard to the future of ambulance service. There's nothing to report in terms of any plan, any formal plan, or any next steps, other than we're going to continue these meetings, and we hope to be able to bring something back at some point for further discussion with the different entities. We also were able to attend the meeting with legislators last Friday. There was some good news coverage of that. That was very nice because we had the opportunity to discuss some of the items that are going on within the city, as well as some of the legislative items that we're paying attention to. I sit as a member of the LLC currently. Mayor Highsmith was the previous one. That changes periodically, but it does give us a window into those efforts with WHAM, and we also see what those items are. And we are able to become educated as well. Commonly, those individuals are coming out of meetings where things have changed, and so we appreciate the education that they provide us in the conversation. Many thanks to Janet Winslow, Kevin Kershiznik, for their organization of those meetings. It was very useful. Thank you. We also had Idea Inc. also met with them. They also made time for our FASC team to attend, so we did have some good time with our legislators. DUI Task Force is continuing to meet. It'll meet February 17th here at City Hall. EDGE meeting is then that night on the 17th. There is a discussion about, and council will consider at the next regular meeting, a proposal from that group to set aside a small amount of funding to go to events, and along with shortened process and agreement. I think we have a good idea, and we're fleshing out the details of that so council can consider it and we can continue that discussion. As you know, the requirements of that group, of that funding, is jobs or an influx of funding into the community. When you have tournaments that bring in 100 families, that's pretty obvious that they buy food, they buy gas, so those do qualify as we understand it. So making it a shorter for a smaller amount of money probably makes some sense. So we'll look forward to having that for you. EDGE, sorry, already said that. WHAM is the 23rd through the 25th in Cheyenne. Mayor Guard, Councilwoman Borders, and myself are currently attending. Many thanks to Tisha. We found that we got rooms, and then Tisha was nice enough to follow up and figured out that we didn't have the rooms we thought we had, and then she fixed it. So many thanks to her, because that would have been awkward when we got down there, and I might have had to sleep in the truck. So it was okay. Force is scheduled to meet on the 14th at the regular time. And, Your Honor, the final thing is all financial disclosure statements have been received at this time from council and senior staff.
Did we find out where everybody had their money?
Yes, but we're still trying to find out how much that is and what those PIN numbers are.
Good idea.
No, we're not. I mean, no, we're not.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate what you do. I had the opportunity Monday to get my 19th grandchild, and I would like to thank staff for covering me on Thursday and Friday when I went over and visited him. He's a cute little 7-pound boy, and we're glad to have him. And so earlier in the week, I got a call about graffiti, and that's on location here in town, and I hope to put the powers of be to getting that cleaned up and fixed. I also was able to meet with the new CEO of Sage West and had a good conversation with him and got down to brass tacks there, and that was enjoyable. I was also able to attend the meeting up at the County 10 board office for the art proposal at the airport. This art proposal has got a lot of people behind it, and it's going to make a really improved view of our airport. As Mike Bailey points out, there's a lot of things happening up at the airport. We have a new security gate that is lost somewhere along the way, but I bet we find it one of these days when it shows up. And that gate secures the apron at the airport, and so it has to have some special things done. We've also been able to, in recent past, we purchased the hangar that was available up there, and we have a bunch of snow equipment that has been upfitted to carry those things and make that work. The time we have, Kyle will know that. How much time are we given to clear the runways in a snow event?
Your Honor, it's funny you asked that, and it's slipping my mind, but we do have a specific period to clear the runway, especially when there's commercial operation.
It's like 2 hours or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a certain level of snow, right?
It's a very brief period, and we also have to issue NOTAMs that report to all pilots. What they used to call a braking action report, they don't do it that way anymore. We just give it a number rating. So if we can't get the runway clear in that period because of continued snow, blowing snow, freezing weather, we have to issue that NOTAM. But I can give you the specifics. I apologize, I don't have that right off the top of my head.
I should have asked before. But there's a lot of moving parts in those things, and we really do appreciate all of the help. The mural that Mike mentioned was someone local has got a large puzzle mural that they would like to find a home for, and the conversation is, will we take down some heads off the wall to put something else up besides heads? And probably not, but it's a good suggestion. And so those are all meetings that I was also able to attend the airport meeting with Mike, and we really do appreciate those volunteers. They do a wonderful job, don't they?
Yep.
And we couldn't do it without them. And so I also was able to go to the RECDA meeting, and Grace was the speaker there. She's the new owner of the Ranger, and we appreciate the format that she's put forward already, and she's making some really great changes there, and we look forward to those. If you maybe stopped taking the paper over the years, maybe it's a good time to start to look and see if you couldn't use the paper once again. So, and that would help a local business with what they need. So we appreciate that. I also am always thrilled to be invited to the staff meeting. We have a great staff, and they do a wonderful job. And I appreciate them covering the meetings. I was supposed to be in the ambulance meeting, the FTAG meeting, and what was the other one you covered for me, Tony? Legislature.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. And the information gets back to me, and we get things taken care of. So thank you very much. Does staff have anything to add?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Council, Mike?
I guess I have one thing, if it's okay. I was at Rotary today, and again, Grace Andrus presented, and we have Carol Harper in the audience that is the interim editor for the Ranger. So
Is that right?
that's exciting.
Last meeting, I thought she was with the ambassadors. And the next thing, I picked up the paper, and Carol was every article. So it's nice to have that. Thanks, Carol. You're now the editor, huh? Interim editor? So, so do you have to check all the spelling? Yes. Wow.
I'll try harder.
You can always be glad that I don't work there. We appreciate what you do. It's nice to have you home. Council have anything? Well, with that done, we will stand adjourned at 8:00.